I am marking the Cisco as safe from Star Trek Discovery. God, that was a close one. Well, hello there and welcome to the video. So, I just got done watching Star Trek Discovery Season 5, Episode 8. There's only 2 more left after this. Oh, we are drawing ever closer to the finale, the grand finale of Star Trek Discovery. Before I start the review, if you are new here, then please hit that subscribe button if you like what I do here on the channel. I've got reviews ranging from Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Picard, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and the Orville. Please feel free to check out the channel and all the other videos that I do. And if you do like this video, hit that like button and hit the bell notification so you can get notifications about all new videos. Now that the standard YouTube gumph is out of the way, let's move on to this episode, this week's installment. This episode should really have been entitled Boredom in a Library, because it was set in a galactic library that shifts positions as referenced back in the previous episode. So Discovery pops into the Badlands for a little bit of light reading. They're on the hunt for the final piece of the clue, whilst being chased down by the Breen, who take a while to get there because obviously Discovery can just jump straight there, but the Breen somehow make it there as well, but a little later in the episode. Oh, where do I start with this episode? They make contact with the library. They make contact with the Chief Librarian, I'm going to call her Chief Librarian, who may as well be from the modern era. The only thing she is missing is like talking like this a lot, you know, like, oh my god, like, you know, this is crazy, like as un-Star Trek as you can get with dialogue, as whatever race she is appears to have absolutely no culture, or that identical culture to the modern day Western world, which I really found grating. If you've seen my reviews before, you know that I don't like this, I think they call it Californian speech. I just don't think it has any place in Star Trek. Modern day ways of communicating with one another, like totally bro, you know, like all of that kind of stuff. I just hate it. It has no place in Star Trek whatsoever. Grand librarian person, she tells Discovery that you know, you got to go through the Badlands. It'd be a bit rough if you deviate from the plans, then you could be destroyed horribly. You could all be killed and the ship could be destroyed. So don't deviate from our flight plan. Anyway, Discovery goes through, they make it to the archive. Can you honestly say you're surprised at this point that Burnham has to be the one to go and get the clue? The library requests the presence of Book because they have a relic from Quajon, his planet, and they want him to give it some context and to, you know, tell them what it's all about. So Book gets to go as well, which was quite interesting because, you know, the library requested Book and not Michael Burnham. Michael didn't want me to go, or she wasn't even going to include me, but somehow I'm there because the library wants to give me a last piece of my homeworld. Now, to me, that was a big clue about one of the possible outcomes to Burnham and co finding the progenitor's tech. I'll get into that in a little while. So they've got a little prediction coming up. Burnham and Book go to the library and tell them that they're looking for a clue, obviously, and they find the book that they've been looking for. Book goes off to the other room to go and find the last ever Quajon item, or whatever it is. And Burnham opens the book and she's reading it, and she finds this little device in there, which she pushes the button, and the scene cuts away. Now we go back to Book, and this relic is actually like it's like a piece of tree or something from Quajon. So my prediction will be, if they do find the progenitor's tech, that he gets Quajon back in some way, shape, or form, because, you know, the progenitor's tech can create life. Maybe he'll have a home planet to go to instead of sulking round Discovery like a miserable twat. Oh God, I can't do anything. Can I help? Can I please help? I don't know what I'm doing. Moving on. Michael Burnham's in a mind trap. Basically, she's in some form of mind trap, similar to the Inner Light kind of deal. I think they even use this similar terminology when describing this field that she's under. She has to prove herself worthy and get out of this mindscape. There is another version of Book in her mindscape, because obviously she thinks about Book quite a lot. This version of Booky's well spoken. He's almost like less moronic, and there's kind of a weird sort of fleck on his accent. So he's just like, I'm Book, but I'm remarkably well better spoken and about 2% less annoying at this point. He's less common, and there's a little bit of finesse with his accent. And he's the Burnham's mind version of Book, and he's there to help her solve the riddles. But he can't help her, but he does help her. And she knows he can't help her, but she makes him help her. And then proves that she didn't need any help to begin with, because she just gets all of the answers straight away. Boom, boom, boom. She's like, why am I here? Okay. This is a problem. That's a problem. Oh, it's a maze. Okay, it's a maze, and I've got to try and figure my way out. Is that right? Am I right? And he goes, well, I'm not going to say you're wrong. While she's trying to figure out the pathway out and to prove herself worthy, which I didn't buy for a second that it was some kind of puzzle that she's got to solve. I knew from the outset that she was going to have to talk about her fifis and what she's afraid of. She's not afraid of dying, she's afraid of failing, which is why she has to be awesome at everything. Ay, ay, ay. Anyway, we all saw that coming, which is just ridiculous and very much Discovery at this point. Meanwhile, the Breen show up and they start trying to punch a hole in the archive because they pissed the archive off. The archive has said, hey, look, we are neutral. If the Breen want to come, they can come. That's not a problem. But we're neutral. They tell the Breen, look, you know, you'd be peaceful, or, you know, you'd be sort of rescinded from access to the archives. The Primarch doesn't really care about anything other than finding this clue to the Progenesis tech. I don't know, really, this episode really struggled to hold my interest. The Breen try to tunnel their way in through the shields of the archive, and meanwhile Burnham's unconscious on the floor, and Book and Rayner are trying to save Burnham with Culber there. He's there too. There was just one scene in engineering where the Discovery's gone off and hid in the Badlands, not in the sort of area that this archive operates in. You've got Jet Reno down there, who once again had a stint as some kind of comms officer, and she was able to come up with the answer to the problem that Discovery had because she'd done it, that sort of thing before, and she does something similar, and she can draw on all this experience of over 2,000 lifetimes of experience or odd jobs that she's been doing, which was just all way too convenient. They stop the Breen from penetrating the shields, and some of the Breen get through, and Book and Rayner end up having a firefight. Book gets injured, and Burnham manages to solve the riddle. A lot of the episode was just ridiculous. The library inside her mind was a maze that she has to find a way out, so she wastes a bunch of time trying to track this maze. She can bring up the plan of the maze on a little combadge projector thing, and she doesn't plot a route out or try and find a route out. She just does everything like so much harder. It's ridiculous. My God, this episode was stupid beyond belief. I mean, Discovery is light years of stupid in a row, but this episode was just, it was so dumb. The end result is she comes out of her mind thing because she admits that she's vulnerable and she feels afraid of failure, and she's afraid of not being the bestest ever. So the Booky Book type character, he just says, oh yeah, by the way, you have passed the test and you are now worthy of the information that we're giving because you've shown a moment of vulnerability, and we like that. Yeah, so we like that, and you're going to do very well, and you can have the clue. It's in a crystal in room 7, and you got to smash it, and then you'll get the clue. Okay, off you go. She does that. Booker gets shot in the chest, but you know, he just goes, oh, that hurts a little bit. He's clearly fine after that. So Discovery has all the clues by the end of the episode. Well, roughly by the end of the episode, and the Breen are basically saying, look, we'll destroy the archive if you don't give us the clues. I mean, Discovery is free at this point, and they're able to just go, but they decide to try and save the archive, which the Breen are attacking and saying, the archive aren't your enemies. We've got what you want. Leave them alone. Now, the Breen then use the archive, or destroying the archive, as a threat to get Burnham to hand over all of the clues, because the clues are now complete and they know where the progenitor's tech is. And I was thinking all the way back to when Rayna got demoted for giving the bad guys an idea. And I'm thinking Burnham's just pretty much done exactly the same thing. She's gone back to try and save the archive, yeah, and to stop the bad guys. And it's given the Breen the idea to destroy the archive, or to use the archive as a threat to get them to hand over the fucking clue. So I thought, there's a nice little double standard there, isn't it? I wonder if Burnham's going to get demoted and made someone else's first officer, which I thought was hilarious. She hands over the clue after scanning it, getting the coordinates and everything, and she hands it over to the Primarch, who's been a bit of a dick. The Primarch gets a clue and then decides to try and destroy Discovery. Discovery fakes their own destruction by jumping, and it's looking like a pile of tosh, or a worse pile of tosh by the time they finish jumping. They fall short of the coordinates and they've got no warp drive, and they can't jump again. And the Breen are obviously heading towards the clue. But before Mo, is it Mo? The other one was Locke. This one's Mo. Primarch tries to destroy the archive anyway, and she leads a revolt. The Breen sort of revolt against the Primarch. He ends up dead, and off they go. And that's where the episode ends. There were a few sort of whoppers in this episode. There was one in particular which I thought was, oh my god, it was basic on so many levels. I felt like it was, I felt sort of pity for the show in some respects, because the librarian says to Book, is your name really like Book? Is it totally like really Book? And he goes, well, yeah, my name is Book. And she goes, oh my god, it's so weird, because usually I visit the books, but now the books are visiting me. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not laughing at the little joke there they did. I'm laughing at the fact that that joke exists on something as highbrow as Star Trek. That was an absolute corker. I wasn't ready for that. It really made me laugh. It was beyond ridiculous. There were more examples of just complete idiocy in this episode. The episode itself was really dull. Everything was contrived. Everything was so convenient. Thankfully, they didn't touch the Cisco, and they didn't touch Deep Space Nine or anything like that, which I was really thankful for. Once again, it's reinforced this position. Discovery is only referencing things so far. We've had Beta Z reference, Romulans reference, Denobulans reference, the Badlands reference, the Talaxians reference. They're only referencing Star Trek. They're not really touching it, which I suppose is a good thing. At the same time, it's quite cheap. Now, I'm happy that they didn't touch DS9 or the Cisco, and I'm hoping they don't go there anymore. The Zengethi as well. They reference the Zengethi, which they called the Zengethi, but it's actually Zenkethi. You know, I just found it really quite a dull episode. It was ridiculous on so many levels. I will be discussing it further in my stream. If you don't know already, I do a live stream on Fridays, 10 p.m. UK time. It's called An Evening in 10 Forward with Danger Man and guests. This one will be number 8. This is something that I'm going to be continuing week after week, even when Discovery ends. So I do hope you'll join me for that. Me and my co-host, we just sort of run through some of the finer points from the episode, some of the things that we picked up on. That I'm not able to squeeze everything into this review, obviously. I do hope you'll join me for that. In the end, this episode was poor. I was bored for a lot of it. The stakes seemed pretty high, but it was just, everything was solved too easily. And Burnham realizing that she could, she's going to die because the lights will go out soon. And having this moment of apparent vulnerability that she's just scared of not being the bestest ever was ridiculous. I mean, failure is a part of life. You know, we've all failed at certain points, but it's important that we learn from those lessons. What I find interesting about Burnham is she doesn't seem to be learning anything new. She just seems to be awesome at everything. You learn so much from failure. You know, you learn so much from not getting things right. In some ways, you learn more from getting things wrong than you do from getting things right. So yeah, I think Discovery is all out of lessons. It's all out of time. It's got 2 episodes left to go, which I think is hilarious. I'm kind of hoping they don't release both episodes at the same time, because that will be a lot to cover for a series finale. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this episode. It was a piss poor episode. It was terrible. Again, which has been most of this season, it was just below par. So many pyrotechnics in this show. Again, I feel sorry for anybody serving on a ship like Discovery, because if you're standing in the wrong place, and there are a lot of wrong places on the bridge, you're going to get toasted like a marshmallow over a bonfire. Every time they're attacked, every time they get hit, it's just flames shooting out the wall. So yeah, I hope you enjoy your eyebrows. Anyway, that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, remember, hit that like button. And if you like the rest of the channel and you like what I do here, please hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification so you can stay up to date on the latest videos. Do join me for the live stream tomorrow. It should be a lot of fun. We usually have a lot of fun on these live streams. And until then, you look after yourselves, you look after one another. Take care. Bye-bye for now.
Stop the violence of the war in my head. Time's the healer, the eraser of all done and said. And as I fall back to my shelter, I know I'll only find peace in your smile.